Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and discover the secret sauce that turns your standard run-of-the-mill chatbot into a powerful AI agent that can actually take real-world action. We're moving way beyond just having a neat conversation with artificial intelligence. We're talking about giving it the power to literally do work for you.
To really understand how AI agents work, we first have to understand their biggest flaw. Imagine a brilliant, genius-level brain, but it's completely trapped inside a glass box. That is essentially your standard large language model. It's read almost the entire internet up to a certain date, right? So it can write essays, crush trivia, and brainstorm brilliant ideas. But because it's stuck in that box, it can't check today's weather, it struggles with precise math calculations, and there is no way it can open a private PDF on your computer. It simply lacks the ability to reach outside.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the brain in a box, chatbots versus AI agents, the AI agent toolkit, the tool calling flow, agents in action, and finally wrap up with safety and human approval. All right, starting off with Section 1, the brain in a box. Let's look a bit closer at that core limitation.
The crucial point you need to grasp here is that tools are external capabilities. If the large language model is the brain, well, tools are the hands and the senses. They're what finally let the AI escape its glass box to gather fresh information and actually perform tasks. When we give an AI a tool, we're giving it a very specific ability to interact with the external world.
Moving right along to Section 2. Chatbots versus AI agents. This is the big shift from just talking to actually doing. This comparison perfectly hits the nail on the head. If you ask a standard chatbot without tools what the weather is like in Paris today, it can only generate text based on its past training. It's going to give you that classic line, "I don't have access to real-time data." But an AI agent, it recognizes what it doesn't know, it reaches out for an external API tool, pulls that live data, and comes right back to tell you it's 18 degrees and sunny. Simply put, a chatbot talks, but an AI agent acts.
Which brings us to Section 3, the AI Agent Toolbox. Let's actually open up this toolkit and see what's inside.
By plugging into this specific list of tools, an AI completely transforms into a powerhouse task assistant. Give it a web search tool, and boom, it can browse live pages. Give it a code execution tool, and suddenly, that AI that was terrible at math can run a Python script and calculate flawlessly. It can use database queries to check your company's inventory, file readers to scan your uploaded PDFs, and APIs to talk directly to your calendar and email. It can even hook up to automation apps like Zapier or Make to trigger entire complex workflows. It's a real game changer. Okay, Section 4, the tool calling flow. Let's break down exactly how the AI decides to use these tools behind the scenes. This flowchart perfectly visualizes the agent loop. You start with your user goal. You ask it to complete a task. Now the AI agent acts like the central planner or the brain of the operation. It looks at your goal and decides which of its available tools it needs to use. It sends a request down to the tool, and then we wait for the observation phase. The tool returns the result, and the agent uses that new info to either adjust its plan or give you the answer. Now, notice a really critical technical detail here. The AI model itself doesn't actually run the tool code. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't physically execute the database search or the web ping. Instead, the AI outputs a highly structured message to the surrounding application saying, "Hey, please run the database search tool." The application does the heavy lifting, executes it, waits for the data to come back, and then hands that data back to the AI. The AI reads it and then decides, okay, do I need another tool, or can I formulate my final answer? Let's move to Section 5, Agents in Action. Time to look at how this all comes together in a real-world workflow. Picture this small business workflow. A customer sends in an email asking about a product. The agent uses an email tool to read it. Then, it immediately fires up a search tool to check the product documentation. Next, it queries a database tool to make sure the item is actually in stock. Finally, it uses the email tool again to draft a super polite reply. It seamlessly strings all these tools together, transforming what used to be a tedious, multi-step manual chore into an automated breeze. But definitely notice that very last step. It asks the human before actually hitting send. And that detail brings us perfectly to our final and honestly most important part, Section 6, Safety and Human Approval. Because we are giving AI these digital hands, we absolutely must strictly separate tools by their power. Read-only tools are generally pretty safe, checking the weather, reading the PDF, or pulling data from a database. But write actions? Those are risky. We're talking about sending emails to clients, creating calendar invites, deleting files, or moving money around. An agent that can write or alter data needs some serious, rock-solid guardrails. If we don't secure these tools, we open ourselves up to massive risks. The AI might accidentally take the wrong action or expose private customer data. It might hallucinate some fake information and pass that bad data straight into a tool. There's also the very real threat of prompt injection, where a malicious user tries to trick your AI into using its refund tool to wire the money. Giving an agent way too many permissions, like letting a basic customer support bot access the company payroll database, is just a recipe for disaster.
So how do we mitigate these risks? We implement a strict human-in-the-loop rule. Think of it like a mandatory pause button. Yes, the AI agent can draft the email, it can prep the calendar invite, and it can even set up the refund, but it absolutely cannot execute it. It must wait for a human to review the action and physically click Approve. In this setup, you are always the boss, and the AI is basically just the intern who has to ask for permission before doing anything sensitive.
This quote right here perfectly summarizes good agent design. The more power a tool gives, the more approval and monitoring it needs. It's not just about how smart the AI is, it's about control. We have to follow the principle of least privilege, meaning we only give the AI the exact tools it needs to do its specific job, nothing more. And for sure, we must log every single tool call the agent makes. That way, if something ever goes sideways, we can see exactly what the AI was thinking and exactly what data it touched.
All right, to recap everything we've covered in our explainer today, here's the ultimate cheat sheet. The large language model, that's the brain, giving this system its reasoning and understanding. The tools are the hands, allowing it to reach out to search engines, APIs, and databases to actually take action. And the guardrails, the permissions, and the human approval, those are the essential safety rules that keep all those amazing actions perfectly under your control. Now that you've got a solid grasp on how tool calling works and how it brilliantly turns conversation into action, I want to leave you with this final thought. If you could give your very own custom AI agent any digital capability, any tool in the world to make your everyday life easier, what would it be? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time as we continue to unpack the ever-evolving world of AI.